build multiple businesses and just build, something amazing. It's incredible. So I'm going to read you her bio. And in 2003, Gogo came from Romania in the U.S. with $200 to build her American dream. She started in real estate in 2011, and she had no SOI, no experience, barely spoke English, and had $6 to her name. That was when she started to build her business organically through the power of social media. Now, Gogo has done some amazing things. She's done 120 million in personal transactions. She's part of the top 3% of the realtors in the nation. She's #1 social media realtor in Michigan, and number 16 social media realtor in the nation. She was featured as one of the top 125 most influential people in Success magazine, which was amazing. She is known as the social media queen. She has over 66,000 followers on Instagram. She's the founder of Gogo's real estate team. She has 2 online boot camps, Gogo's Boot Camp and Agent Attraction Boot Camp. And she is a 2 Comma Club winner, award winner. In November of 2018, Gogo joined EXP. And since then, she has attracted more than 1,000 agents across the U.S. and from Canada, Mexico, France, Brazil, Spain, and Colombia. In 2022, Gogo also started her own TV show called Gogopreneur, blah, blah. And today, Gogo is part of the top 2% of top influences at EXP. And what Chanel said, Gogo is her authentic self, right? She shares the good, the bad, the ugly. You get to know her through social media, so she just lays it out there, and she is always herself, and I respect that about her. So if you can give a big round of welcome to Gogo.
Thank you so much. I talk with my hands, so could you guys hear me without it?
Yeah.
No? Okay, I'll hold it for you guys. So about 15 years ago, I was sitting at my very cushiony corporate America job, and I read this quote: "If you don't build your dreams, somebody is going to hire you to build theirs." And I realized, hold on a minute. Yes, I was making $53,000. And without any college education and barely speaking English and any previous job experience and the matching 401k and health insurance, I thought that was pretty freaking good, right? But here I was building somebody else's dream, and I didn't leave Romania all by myself. Guys, I came to a continent, still to this day, on this whole continent, I don't have anyone related to me by blood besides my own 2 children. I didn't speak the language. I don't have a cousin or a college friend, or I have best friends now. She's sitting right there, right? But I didn't have anyone, and I got into sales after I got out of my corporate America job, and I, by the way, did all kinds of jobs. So don't think like when I was growing up, I was like, you know what, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a realtor. I didn't even know, first of all, we don't even have realtors in Romania. Okay, we have now, but we didn't have them back then, right? So it wasn't a thing that I'm like, oh, when I grow up, I'm gonna be doing that. So what I want to walk you guys through today, and what Kim asked me to cover today, a couple of the things that I feel like I'm really good at, and maybe that's what the world says that I'm really good at, is building systems and processes. I may look like a blonde little chick with these things up here, right? But I'm technically a dude. I'm just stuck in this little blondie's body, okay? So what I want to cover today is that I feel like, you raise your hand if you agree, that even though over 52% of realtors are women, we still work in the men's world.
Yeah.
There you go. So I want to remind you all that we have balls. We just carry them up here. Right? So we can do this, and we can do it just as good as they can. The only problem is that we were raised different, and we think different, and we need to change our thinking so then we can work like they do. So we can build businesses like they do. And I don't even want to say like they do, because I built 9 of them. So as like we do, okay? So let's start walking through them. Number 1, I walk you through a little bit of the time frame of my career, so you don't think that I woke up one day and I got 9 businesses and I was successful, okay? Very first year of my real estate, I made $16,000. I probably spent more on fees and gas, right? The second year I doubled it. Pretty much every year after that I have doubled my income, right? But what Kim wanted me to talk about today is how I have so much help. So today I have 14 virtual assistants. I have a house assistant. I have an executive assistant. My executive assistant has an assistant. I have a chef. I haven't ran a load of laundry in probably 4 years. I don't grocery shop. I don't walk my dog. Sometimes I do, if I have time, I walk my dog. I work Monday to Wednesdays. Monday to Wednesday I work like a mad woman. Like, you can't get into my calendar for probably months out, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is for the family, okay? My first year, yes, I made $16,000. Last year I made $2.9 million.
Woo! Get it, girl.
Okay? So, are you interested in how you can do that too? Okay. Number one is, raise your hand if you feel like, I think it was Denise, say, or who, no, Kim, I think you were talking about how you were worried about your dog all day, right? So raise your hand if you like, we are going on vacation this weekend. Does everybody have free clothes? Do we have dog food? Oh shoot, we don't have potatoes for dinner tonight. And you're still running all of these businesses alongside with everything else, right? So number one, what we need to learn is this: time is money. And I'm not joking. Time is truly money, okay? So you need to sit right now, take out your phone or a notebook, because I need you to know this number. If you don't have a notebook, then grab your phone. Take the money that you made last year, and don't worry, I'm not going to make you share the number with everybody, okay? Take the money that you made last year and divide it by 2,080. If you have worked a healthy 40 hours, like none of us realtors work healthy 40 hours, but let's just assume that somebody out there is really good at what they do, right? And they don't work weekends, and they work holidays, and they work 40 hours, right? No, it doesn't exist, but let's assume that you did. You just got your hourly rate on the screen of your phone. I want you to take that hourly rate, and I want you to go to your washer, and I want you to, first of all, write it down on a piece of paper. Then you're gonna go to your washer. I have a good old-fashioned washer. I'm refusing to give up my old-fashioned washer because it actually uses water. Believe it or not, when it does laundry, right? So I have the old-fashioned one that it opens up. If you have the kind that it opens out, then stick it to the front. And it's going to say, right on that piece of paper, it's going to say it's a very expensive load of laundry. Do I qualify to run a load of laundry? It's like running a bike. If I knew how to do it 4 years ago, I sure know how to do it today. But if I know that my hourly rate is $2,300, should I run a load of laundry or should I hire it out? How much do you think it's going to cost you to hire someone to come and run a load of laundry? $20 an hour? Okay. Do most of you think like, well, it's $20 and I don't have, or it's $20 expense? I'm happy that you guys are not raising your hands, but there might be some liars in the audience. Okay? Most people do look at it as an expense. I used to look at it as, well, that's $20. I can run a load of laundry and listen to a podcast. Yeah. Right? Now let me change your mind on it. You know what your hourly rate is? So every time I would run a load of laundry, I would be losing $2,280. Not saving 20, losing $2,280 because my hourly rate is $2,300. Right? So when you know your hourly rate, from now on, you're never, ever, ever going to do anything that doesn't make you that money. Because if I took that hour, well, okay, let's back it up one step. I'm not saying go sit poolside and drink mimosas while somebody's doing laundry in your house, okay? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, now that you know your hourly rate, figure out how do you make that money. What is the activity that makes you the most amount of money? Raise your hand if you're a realtor. Okay, so almost most of us. Okay, so I'm going to do the math in real estate, okay? So not only that now you know your hourly rate, I want you to take a look at the amount of transactions you had. And within that transaction, I want you to take a look at how many listing site transactions you had and how many buy site transactions, okay? And now write this down. NAR says that an average realtor that got their craft down on the listing side spent an average of 8 hours with the client from start to finish, from the moment you meet them you have the phone call, you go out to a listing appointment, you list the property, do the paperwork, some negotiations, some marketing, show up at the final walk to do the closing, voila, right? About 8 hours if you pretty good at your craft. On the buy side, guess what NAR says? 32 and a half hours. Now think about it. Do you make more money usually on the listings than you do on the buyers? Right? So not only that you make more money on the listing side, but you spend less time making that money. So now what I want you to take is take your average commission. Now you know your hourly rate in average, right? But take your average commission on the listing side, divided by 8, you're gonna have your hourly rate. Now take your average commission on the buy side, divided by 32 and a half, and you'll have your hourly rate. Where do you think you should spend your time? Listings. Should you be running laundry, or should you be going and getting yourself another seller? You should get good job. Chicken, what did he say? We don't want a chicken dinner. Good job. So that's exactly, so now you have broken it down, not only what your hourly rate is, but where you make that money, and that's where you need to be spending your time in the future. Everything else needs to be hired out. There's also another activity that I do all the time. This is specific for what job you are going to hire to, right? But do this exercise called red light, green light exercise. You'll take a piece of paper, you're going to draw a line that's smack in the middle. On the left-hand side, you're going to say red light. On the right-hand side, you're going to say green light. I do this exercise every time I'm hiring somebody. Red light means, stop doing it. Somebody else can do it. Those are the type of activities that it doesn't make you that money in the hour. You suck at it, but you do it anyway. Or you hate doing it, like paying taxes. Raise your hand if you love sending the paperwork to your CPA.
It means I'm making money.
Oh, hey, I didn't say I don't like paying taxes. I don't like actually paying taxes. Last year I was not a fan. This year that was my goal, learn. Raise your hand if you got special training in school what to do with money. When you actually make it. Isn't that weird? Yeah. The first time I paid $440,000 in taxes, I was like, there is something wrong. I clearly figured out how to make money. I didn't figure out what to do with it. So if you, let me say this in a way, I'm kind of skipping ahead, but when you're doing everything right, and you start making a lot of money, you're gonna start paying a lot in taxes, unless you learn to play the game. And unless you surround yourself with people that know how to play the game, and they can teach you to invest, and they can teach you to max out your children's IRA, and they can teach you to turn your company into an S corp. First of all, raise your hand if you have an LLC. Love it. Raise your hand if you have an S corp, or file taxes in an S corp. Love it. So many of us, but the rest of you, you want to get to the point where you file taxes in an S corp. So you're employing yourself and you're collecting a salary. Okay, so learn to play the game. Okay, back to your hourly rate. So you figure out where to spend the time, right? And then you're gonna have to figure out with the red light, green light exercise of who's doing what and what you're gonna hire out first. So you're gonna take a clipboard, you're gonna take a piece of paper, and you're gonna walk around with a piece of paper everywhere you go for the next 90 days, right? Do it for a week for each of these specific jobs. When you are doing every step that you take for that specific job, so let's say you're hiring an administrative assistant. You are going to take every step that you take, every phone call you make, every flight that you schedule, every event that you put into your calendar, every client that you talk to, every email that you send out, everything that you do that an executive assistant can do for you, you're going to put it on the red light, green light section. Red light means stop doing it. It can be hired out. Green light means, oops, I'm it. So for me, social media is green light, and it's gonna be green light because that's how I built everything that I have today. I built a brand around myself. If I hired it out, it all goes poof. That's not one part that I can hire out. Now there's many parts of the social media that I can actually do hire out, right? I only post on Instagram. If you wanna talk to me directly, you better message me on Instagram because everywhere else you're gonna get one of my VAs. But I am everywhere. I'm anywhere from TikTok. I find it funny that I have a TikTok account because I never logged in. But I do have, I have no idea how many followers I have or what's going on, but everything I post on Instagram, automatically gets posted on TikTok and YouTube and you name it, all of the different LinkedIn platforms, Google, you name it, I'm everywhere, right? I'm just not the one who's doing the work. My assistant is, my social media assistant, okay? Okay, so now that you have your hourly rate and you're never gonna run laundry, your husband's all gonna hate me. I'm sorry about that. So let me walk you through my career and how everything got started. Number one, very first thing a person I would hire would be a TC, a transaction coordinator. Do not ever push paper again. Number one, a transaction coordinator doesn't get paid unless you do. So if the deal falls apart and they work 10 hours on it, well, too bad, I'm not getting paid, you're not getting paid, sorry, maybe next time, right? So it's truly not an expense. Number two, you can charge what's called a transaction fee in the state of Michigan, so charge that. Technically, your clients are paying for your TC, okay? So how many hours do you think you work on paperwork? Per file, it's at least 3 hours, right? You just saved yourself 3 hours. What's your hourly rate? You're welcome. I just made you money. Next one, administrative assistant. Your assistant, you do need at some point, and this is kind of the most expensive hire, is an in-person assistant. All my virtual assistants are, actually I should say all 14 of my assistants are virtual. They're all in Brazil. Everything they do is online. But now if I need them to buy me a closing gift and run out a yard sign, they can do that. So for that, you do going to have an in-person assistant, and that's going to be your most expensive hire here locally. So after you had your in-person assistant, then you can break down all of the different jobs that you so said do and needs to get done. And even the best part is there are certain things that you don't do now because you don't have the time. Imagine when you have the time. Now everything can get taken care of, it's just not by you. So I have an executive assistant. Her name is Lindsay. And she's been with me for 2 years now. She goes everywhere I go, every single Zoom call, nowhere when I'm physically there, right? Like today, she's not here, she's in Brazil, right? But every Zoom call I go to, every meeting I go to, everywhere I go to, she goes. This way, I don't have to have meetings with her necessarily because she's always up to date. She just sits there in the background like a wallflower. If I need a link, she'll plug it in there. Other than that, she's just sitting in the background. I do pay all of my assistants to train. That's another, people ask me all the time, do you pay them to read a book? Yes. I literally just had my assistant while I'm gone here. I'm gone Thursday, Friday this week, right? I had her get a book and read it for the next 2 days while I'm gone. It's an executive assistant book, right? So I'm like, that's more than while I'm gone. Then we got to the point where she couldn't do everything for me anymore, and so she has an assistant. Also, I saw a meme one day that said that you know you made it when your assistant has an assistant. Okay? So I wanted my assistant to have an assistant. But also, the other important part is that you have to have your people cross-trained, because what if they quit? This way I have a backup, right? Okay, the next one is a social media assistant. So I do post, all of my posts are organic on social media, right? I do them all myself on Instagram, but Instagram is like my home page. Everywhere else, it gets posted by my social media person. She's the one who answers all the DMs. It actually dawned on me one day because I logged into LinkedIn and I had 960 messages. It took me 4.5 hours to go through, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that we are in the same industry, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh my God, I really had 4 messages that I needed to address. Right? So should I spend 4.5 hours on my LinkedIn messages, or can somebody do that? By the way, take a wild guess what a virtual assistant charges in an hour. What did you say? 9? 375. It's cheap. If you can afford a VA, then skip Starbucks. And then you can afford one, right? So then we got Lindsay, an assistant, and her name is Carol, and she goes everywhere Lindsay goes. So I have now 2 people go everywhere I go, right? So we got the social media assistant. Then we have Ellen. Ellen is our design assistant, and she makes everything pretty. So all the flyers, all the events, all the speaking engagements, the presentations, anything that requires to be designed, Ellen does that. All of our agents being introduced, all of the birthday celebrations, anything that we do that needs to be designed and needs to be pretty. By the way, I do not have a single bone in my body that makes things pretty. Okay? I don't have that. I don't design things. I just... right? So I did that, and I love Ellen. She's adorable. Then we have Saeed. Saeed is our numbers guy. I'm the biggest numbers nerd. My trackers have trackers. I track everything. If you don't track it, you can't grow it. If you don't know your numbers, how could you possibly get it to the next level? How could you double it, right? So he's been with me. He's my oldest VA. He started out as our numbers guy, and today he's also our onboarding agent. So he onboards agents, and he does all of my numbers. Then we have Gabriel. He joined us recently, and he's our tech guy. So Gabriel builds all of our funnels, all of the websites, all of the everything that requires like website kind of stuff, right? Then I have a house assistant, or a life assistant, I should say. Her name is Cassandra. And I absolutely hate packing, and I probably hate nothing more than unpacking. So she helps me with anything in the house. Number one, when I work, I work. I don't eat, I don't drink water, I don't take my vitamins. I'm literally so in the zone of doing what I need to be doing that her main job is to bring in my water in the morning and my vitamins, and then check on me every hour to make sure that I drink it. Literally, she comes in every hour, she's like, take a sip. I'm like, okay. When she's not in there, right, she's running the household, she's grocery shopping, she's making sure that my children are taken care of, that my oldest is type 1 diabetic, make sure that we have the supplies, and pretty much everything that a mom needs to do. And this is how I made a Facebook post in our neighborhood. And I said, I'm looking for a second wife. Pretty much. Right? I did the job description, and people were like, well, you're pretty much looking for a sister wife. And I'm like, pretty much, besides that other part of the job. Yes. And she's amazing. I could not do what I do without her. She's super reliable, kind of works out for both of us. She lives in our neighborhood. She has young children, so I'm flexible. I don't care when the laundry gets done. I don't care if you do it at 2:30 in the afternoon or 9:30 in the morning or a Sunday afternoon. What do I care? I don't care. Right? So it's flexible. If her children are sick, she can stay home. So if you're looking for someone like that, think of all of the moms in your neighborhood that drop off and they're free from 9:30 to noon. Like, how much time do you really need in your household stuff? It's like, it can be done in 2 to 3 hours if someone's doing it, right? And then we hired a chef. Because when you're running 9 companies and you come out at 5 o'clock, I guarantee you I'm probably pissed because somebody somewhere is fucking up. Excuse my French. Right? When I come out after a long day, I don't want to think about what's for dinner. I don't want to think about if we have the ingredients. And here's another problem. Being from Transylvania, Romania, when I cook Hungarian food. Well, when I have an American assistant and she goes grocery shopping, she doesn't really buy the ingredients for the Hungarian food. So I can't really cook Hungarian food anymore, right? And so it also dawned on me, my hourly rate, and it dawned on me that I'd rather spend the time with my children. I'd rather spend it with my husband. I'd rather spend it winding down. I don't want to worry about food. And so now we have a chef who comes every Monday. She comes every Monday and cooks us Monday, Tuesday dinners, and then comes every Wednesday and cooks us Wednesday, Thursday dinners. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we kind of do our own thing, or I cook or we go out. Now if you think about, guess how much a chef charges? $30 an hour.
Chef.
Exactly, that's it, that's what I was thinking. So I have Cassandra who buys the groceries because I do believe I'm huge on eating healthy, right? So I eat organic only. I do not put dairy or meat or fruit and vegetables is organic only or we don't eat it, right? So for me it's very important to make sure that we buy clean food because I also had a food service coming to the house, but is that really organic? I don't know. Is it Tyson chicken? Probably. I mean, if they're running a business and they want to be profitable, it's probably Tyson chicken. I'm never going to Tyson chicken. So what I want to make sure is Cassandra, when she grocery shops, she brings the groceries. It's organic, this way I can trust it, right? And then when the chef cooks it, she cooks it right in my house. It's done in pretty much 2 meals. It's done in 3 hours. $90. If I was to take my family out to eat, by the way, I have 2 teenage boys. They eat everything in the fridge. Could I feed them 2 organic, healthy home-cooked meals for $90? No. Could I make in 2.5 hours $90? That's why you have to hire it out. But I never looked at it that way before. I don't come from money. I have no idea about money. You know what I come from? Hard work. In my culture, hard work equals money. I just had my parents out from Romania for 6 weeks. I think if you had to put a description next to the word awkward, that would be having your 2 Eastern European parents in your house, sitting around tanning in the backyard while you have, oh, and I have a house cleaner, I forgot to say, who's come every Friday. While you have your house cleaner there, while you have your house assistant there, and the chef, and my mom is like, so what am I supposed to be doing? And I'm like, we have a pool, go out, go get a tan. You're from Romania, it's February. Like, get a tan, right? But it's so weird for her. Like, my mom did nothing but work her whole life. Imagine the difference in it. Imagine how many lessons I had to learn to get to what I know today. It's night and day from what I was raised with. But you cannot do it by yourself. Do I know if I can if I can do laundry and raise my kids and take care of the dog and take care of the household and run a business? And yeah, I did it. I did 42 transactions before the year by myself before I switched to EXP. I know how to do production, and I know how to run all that. I told my husband, if I drop dead right now, you have no idea where our son medical supplies come from. You think he just showed up on the forklift. Right? I used to do it all. It's a huge switch. But in order for you to grow, you have to be able to make these changes so you can take yourself to the next level. Do you think, there are guys in the room. Okay, let me ask you. When you do what you do you think about if there's 2 loads of laundry or 3 for tonight? When you do what you do, in the background, in the back of your head, do you have the thought of like, does the dog have food? Did the boys outgrow their shoes? What are we doing for dinner? Do I have 2 loads of laundry or 3?
I do some of that, yes.
Oh, that's the wrong person I picked from the crowd. Anybody else who's not that domesticated?
They're not domestic.
Yes, somebody else? Yeah. Okay, you want to play? Okay, do you do laundry? And do you run all of that in the back of your mind when you do this videography stuff?
It's horrible because when I run out of things, I just go buy more.
See, he doesn't do laundry, he just buys new ones. Love it. Okay, so let me make sure that I have covered everything here today that I wanted to cover you guys with. Okay, let's do this. You have your hourly rate. I'm very excited about that. You're never going to do that again, right? So the other thing I want you to realize, now that I have 17 people that helping me, right? Times 40 hours, plus my 28 hours a week. If I remember correctly, now I don't have my presentation, but it's like 560 hours or so a week. Then I so send work. So 560 hours of work gets done, but I technically work 28 hours. That's how you can grow. You have to be able to leverage time out and use other people's time to be able to grow your business. Today I have location freedom, but that's not, there's 3 freedoms that I want you to concentrate on. Financial freedom, location freedom, and time freedom. Because you can make all the money on earth, and this is how it is dawned on me. I didn't used to have all this health. It's pretty recent. But also pretty recently, I lost one of my best friends in a car accident. And it dawned on me that she lived about 12 minutes from me, and I didn't see her for over 3 months. Because I was busy. She also told me that you only have 4 more summers with the boys. I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it that I really have, they're 13 and 15, I really have 4 summers with them. After that is like, peace out, Mom. Maybe they'll come over for Christmas. So should I be really hustling? But I also came for the American dream though, right? So I'm not willing to give that up. I'm not willing to have it all. I want to have it all. I just don't want to have to do all the work myself anymore. The one thing that I wanted to, and I think somebody said from the speakers, we all worried about we are not enough, right? So I want you to know that every time you have an idea, that God gave you that idea. God gave you that idea because He created you. He knows that you have the skills to turn that idea into a reality. The question is, do you have the balls to take action? So don't let those ideas go to waste, because God doesn't make mistakes. You are perfect the way you are. If that idea is in your head and it's not in mine, it's because you have the skills that it takes to make that idea a reality. He gives us all individual skills, And he gives us all individual ideas. We just have to take action. He also gives you a choice, right? So you have to take action. How am I doing on time?
Just keep going.
Okay. No, seriously, I don't want to.
It's 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 minutes exactly.
Okay. So what else do I want to cover with you guys? Ask me anything. I mean, I guess I can walk you through my career. I have failed a lot. But who created the light bulb? Edison. So did you know that the light bulb he failed over 1,000 times? And he said he didn't fail 1,000 times. He just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. So don't ever give up on your idea just because something didn't work. Like sometimes people are like, hey, Gogo, I posted and I'm not a millionaire. Right? Like, and you're not going to be. If you do the math, I post twice into my stories, twice into my post every single day, and then I post at least, probably overdo it, so don't do it as much as I go, at least 15 to 20 times into my feed, into my stories. Okay, so twice into my feed, 15 to 20 times into my stories. So if you add that up, let's say 20 posts a day. I've been a licensed realtor for 11 years, times 365, times 20. I have no idea what that is, but it's a big number. Right? Did somebody just do the math? Yeah, it's a lot.
Can you talk a little bit more about, like, because I feel like a lot of women specifically compare their chapter 2s to your chapter 10. Can you talk a little bit more about, like, that journey and, like, not comparing, staying where we are, thriving where we are? Because I feel like you are especially good at that, but you're also at a chapter 10.
Yeah. So you can't compare yourself if you're brand new in the industry. You can't compare yourself to someone at 11 years in. I'm 11 or 12 years in, right? The way I like to explain it, imagine the person who made $16,000 and the knowledge I held to make $16,000 to the person who made almost $3 million last year working a quarter of the time than I did when I made $16,000, right? It's not the same person. It's not the same knowledge. I'm huge on knowledge. Now, I do not have college education. I have like an associate degree, and then I got pregnant. Okay? But what I do have is a lot of street smarts. I have read a lot of books. I have went to a lot of events. Here's another way you want to look at it. That person who made $16,000, if I sat down with Grant Cardone at dinner and I listened to him talk, 80% of it would probably went poof, and I would never even understand it because I don't even have the vocabulary base, right? So you have to keep learning and getting to that next level. And every time, I think one of, gosh, I can't think of his name. Anyway, he says, who are you chasing? So I want you, thank you. I want you to figure out who are you chasing? Who is that person who's just one step out? If you're doing 1 transaction a month, who's that person who's doing 2? If you're doing 2 transactions a month, who is that person who's doing 10? If you're already doing 10 transactions a month, who's that person who just started building a team? Oh, you started building a team? Okay, you have 2 agents. Who is that person who has 10? Who is that person who has 40? Who is that person who, oh, they have that? Do they have a title company? Who is a title company? Okay? That's how it started. If you would have given me everything I have today, 11 years ago, I probably would have burned it all. Like, I would have had no idea what to do with it. Opportunity will come the more you grow, because you're going to understand more. And when you go to events, you're going to meet people. And God puts people in your life for a reason. Some for a reason, some for a season. Some come and go, and that's okay. It's okay to outgrow people. It's okay to have people in your life for a season, and it was fun, it was great, but they no longer serve a purpose. People, as soon as they serve the purpose in your life, they will exit, and that's okay. The other thing that's very important in my mindset, an hour of your time is an hour of your life. You're never going to get that back. So if you're spending it with the wrong people, I look at it this way. Do I get all kinds of opportunities? Yes. Do you have to show up to every single one? No. Because if I already know, just looking at that opportunity, then I'm not interested, I'm not going to show up just so I can be a nice-faced person and give you the time of the day, because I have 2 adorable children. I only have 4 years left with them. This is another thing. What is the enemy of good? Thank you. You probably listened to me. The enemy of good is not bad. The enemy of good is great. You could have it good. You probably have it good. You're like, I have it good. You could have it great. So make sure you are not spending time on good ideas. You have to be able to leave time for great ideas. So when you finally take things out of your calendar and other people are doing it, now you have time to think. Now you have time to work on your business and not in your business. And that's what's going to take you to the next level. So don't ever compare yourself to the Grant Cardones if you're brand new in the industry. Compare yourself to that next person. And by compare yourself, be annoying like a 2-year-old. Like I have zero problems calling that person and be like, can I shadow you? I'm just gonna, where are you going? When I was a realtor, I would jump into agents' cars. I was sitting in the office at real estate when I saw the top producing agent leave. I'm like, I don't care where you're going, Petlas, I'm going with you. I'm gonna jump in your car and I'll be a wallflower, you won't even know I'm here. Because I wanna see how you handle your day. I wanna hear you on the phone. I wanna see how you negotiate. I wanna see what you say when somebody says, oh, but we are interviewing other agents, right? I want to see them in action. So if the person that you're chasing won't give you the time of the day, then ask them, can I pay you for that time? What is your time worth? I'll pay you. Because I know that couple $100 or couple $1,000 that I'm going to cost me, I'm going to turn it into hundreds of thousands, if not millions. But again, that only works if you do. So if you're going to take the knowledge and you're going to do absolutely nothing with it, it's a waste of everybody's time. Again, remember, an hour of your time is an hour of your life. I'll take one more question. I have 2 minutes. Yes?
So your Monday through Wednesday, what does that look like to you?
So every Monday, I'm very, very scheduled. Like I literally know what I'm going to be doing 2 years from now, right? Every Monday, I have 9 companies. Each of my company get an hour. So every Monday, I'm 9 hours zoomed out of my mind. So by 5 o'clock, I'm like, no, just don't even make eye contact. Especially in those 3 days before my period. Everybody knows that just skip dinner, don't make eye contact. She's good. I'm going to go watch a documentary with a glass of wine and see you in 2 days. Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 11, I do a podcast. Booked out again for months. Everything I do is very systematic, right? So I build websites, systems in places, and I'm more than happy to help you with that. If you follow me on YouTube or Instagram, I try to share as much knowledge as I possibly can. Tuesday afternoons are kind of open for those random newspaper articles that they need to interview me for, just anything random, anything that kind of just people need to get into my calendar. Wednesdays are our Team Gogo days, and talking about building a tribe, I am so happy. I have over 1,000 Team Gogo agents, and I feel like we have built a tribe. We call ourselves the Team Gogo International Family of Agents. So many of us are here today. I'm so happy. And we are truly, we don't take a cut. We do what we do together, right? We do a lot of trainings, a lot of masterminds. We go to events together. When I used to live here, they used to come to my house all the time, and we used to have Wine Tuesday, because real estate is stressful.
Or Monday.
Right? Now I miss that. I moved to Florida, and we have this beautiful home, and nobody's coming over. So what's the point, right? And then, so Wednesdays are training days. Every 1 o'clock on Wednesday, we have a Team Gogo training. Every 2:30 in the afternoon, I do coaching calls, and also on Tuesday mornings, every 15 minutes, I have 8 coaching clients. So I start, I think, at 7:30 until 9:30, 15 minutes back to back to back to back. So that's pretty much it. Thursdays, Fridays, it's not like I don't work. I try not to. So if my husband says, hey, let's have a voting day, I would love to have a voting day. But if not, I spend a lot of time, guys, in my head. I spend a lot of thinking time. I'm constantly rebumping things. My team knows, and if I go on a vacation, they're like, just buckle up. Because she's coming back with a ton of ideas. If you see me at an event, it's not that I don't pay attention, even though I do believe I'm the world's best multitasker. When you speak multiple languages, it's like I have 3 brains, right? I can just do multiple things, but that's because I implement. If I hear the speaker says something, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm already messaging my team. Get it done by the time they come back, right? So take action. Don't ever hesitate on that. You don't have to overthink anything ever again. As soon as you know that why did God give you that idea? Because you have the skills. You never have to think about it again to make a decision. Most of the time, I'll just jump and I build a plane on the way down. So thank you so much for having me today. You're all amazing. You can all do whatever your little heart desires. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or whatever nationality you are. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter if you're educated in college or not. It doesn't matter who you know. Well, it kind of does. That's why you want to go to places, right? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters in this country. I come from a country where those things do matter. In this country, if I can do it, anybody can. Mind you, I didn't speak English until I was 21 years old. Thank you.